Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our show today. Today, I wanted to have a conversation with you about the importance of having a professional real estate agent represent you in any transaction that you're getting involved in. We all know that we have choices. We can go to any transaction without an agent, the same way that we can go to a court without a good attorney representing us. We can do our own taxes without a good CPA. But we all know that there's a price to pay for that. So I thought, who better than having somebody who's been involved in many, many real estate transactions and to hear from her side of her opinion on why is it important to have somebody represent her in her transactions. I have worked with Desiree for a very long time. I had the honor and the privilege of being in some of her workshops. Desiree Bordeaux is a savvy investor. She is rock star business owners, and she does workshops. She has fabulous ideas, and I can go on and on and on about talking about her. But without further ado, I want Desiree to take the lead in here and share her experiences and let us know, why does she think that she was better off to have been represented? What are the benefits of that, and all this good stuff. So Desiree, welcome to our show. I know you're doing your 2-day workshop, and thank you for taking the time off of that and spend a few minutes with us. Without any further ado, go ahead and take the lead now.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Just for a little background, got my first real estate license in 1989, and then I became a broker, and then I became a investor. And I'm still involved in real estate in the sense that my current company that I have is called Homework, and it's a live, work, share for women professionals and entrepreneurs. And what we do is we acquire luxury style homes, and we design the bedrooms to be live, work suites for women to live in full time, part time, or drop in. And also, it's a great facility for retreats and things of that type. So it's still real estate based, even today. And even when, as a licensed real estate agent and broker, I always use another agent for my transactions. I always wanted that arm's length security. We'll go for a couple different reasons, but even for myself, when you're involved in a transaction, you're emotional. People say, like, you're an agent, why would you give that commission away? Well, first of all, you can negotiate the commission so that it works with you, even if you do some of the work behind the scenes. But you're emotional, and you want to be away from that. You want to be arm's length from that transaction. Also, because of the liability, I wanted to not be representing myself, like representing yourself in court. It's more liability. So I believe you should have another agent, even as an agent. So especially then, as a buyer or seller, you need an agent, because if as a broker, I knew what to do and what not to do. So it wasn't for the lack of knowledge, but for the people that are just buying and selling their homes, they would have that lack of knowledge, and it changes so much. Like everything else, it changes constantly. And unless you really are that kind of guru, you're going to follow all the different changes, all the different laws, all the different mandates, you're going to put yourself in a lot of trouble. First of all, real estate for most people is the largest and biggest transaction they'll make in their life. It's a big number, and you don't want to take it lightly. If you're going to save and skimp on something, let it be something else, anything else, but not on something that could represent thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars in either a win or a loss. So having a real estate agent, you should hire one that's been experienced. Experience is the best teacher. There's certain things they're going to find out. They're going to learn not through the books or not through the real estate school, but through the experiences they've had over the years. They know how to access resources. If you needed something, if you need get a chimney inspector, or if you need someone to repair something, and they have access to years of resources. They also have access to being able to negotiate better, because they're not emotionally involved. They're not emotionally involved. They are thinking of the pros and the cons, and they're trying to create a win-win situation for both parties. They also problem solvers. If there's a problem, there's always going to be problems when you talk about something like that. So they're able to solve those problems because they've had years of experience of solving problems before, things that you just would never even think about. House bought, and maybe there's open up the walls to do a remodel, and there's rodents all over the walls. How do you solve that problem? Well, if you're a newcomer, if you're a new agent, or if you're trying to do it yourself, you don't know the different ways and the laws and the ways you can resolve that. They also, have a network, they can work with other agents, other people in other cities. Maybe buyers can come from a different city, a different state, different area. They have access to a network to make sure if they're listing your property, they can have access to sell it. And then if they're buying your property, be able to have access to people that they need. The marketing. Okay, you can market things, and a lot of people are very savvy, but a good agent has multiple ways of marketing, not just within the media, it's between podcasts and videos and advertising, but within there, you can market within their communities. If they have a company, if there was a Keller Williams or a franchise or chain of offices, they can market within those offices, within those agents, as many times have an in-house transaction on both sides of the deal. So they have access to that. They have much more tools. They have much larger network. And their community, they've built up a community. If they work in a farm in a certain area, they already have people that they are knowledgeable and that know them and trust them and like them in that community. And they have that exposure. They've already been exposed. They know that. So it's just a lot of reasons from just the experience part of it. Then we get into the legalities. That's again huge. It's not, we're in a very litigious society right now,
Mhm.
and people, they don't like something, that's the first result. So why not have those buffers of a company, corporation? They've got attorneys, they've got different things, insurance in place. They've got other, again, resources and fresh. They have ways. If the agent can't solve it, she can go to her broker. The broker can go to another manager. They can go to district. They can go to corporate. They can go places deep to resolve a legal problem before it actually goes to a court. So you've
That's,
got a lot
that's
more resources. Otherwise, if you're just trying to represent yourself, what do? Where do you go? You go to an attorney. You don't have people behind you, that's protecting you as their client. So you go deeper as protecting as a client. And then just again being able, if there's the legal work, but there's also being able to not advise you in accounting, but refer you to people that can help you with your accounting. I say accounting is important because taxes are important. You may make buy or sell a transaction that could have huge tax consequences, and you wouldn't know that necessarily unless you've had experience with it. So I mean, that could be, I've had people make a transaction, they've lost hundreds, thousands of dollars in taxes because they didn't do it correctly. They didn't have an agent or someone that's experienced in transaction after transaction to advise them on the legal, advise them on the accounting. They don't give the advice, but they can refer you to someone who does that. They can refer you to someone that does, again, if you had home modifications, they can be just, there's a lot of things that this experience covers, and it protects yourself. And it's just not an area to skimp on. It's just not the amount you pay a percentage. So it's a win-win. If they don't sell your property, or if they don't, then they don't get paid. So they really have that incentive to try to do it, because again, they've done all the open houses, they've done all the work, they've done the marketing, they put money into the property, and if they don't sell, they don't get paid. So you really have nothing to lose in that sense, that they are going to give it their best efforts. And it's in order for them to ever get paid or compensated for it, they've got to produce. And so with that mindset, that's all the ambition or initiative that you need to be able to do it. So I want people that's as excited and as ambitious about selling my property or helping me find a property that I am. And they know they only get paid if they don't. They're not getting paid by the hour. So the only way they get paid is when the transaction is complete, satisfactory.
to deliver result, a
Yes.
satisfactory result. That's what I'm,
Yes.
how I feel, because I think right now, the market that we have today, most of the sellers may think that, oh, you know what, we put the property on the market and all the agents are telling how it sells 40,000 over, and we can do the same thing. But truly, I believe most of the work, or some of the work, important work, comes when you do the marketing, when you're preparing your home for sale, and especially when the negotiations begin. How an agent is handling this negotiation, pre-qualifying all the offers which are in, who to choose, what to do so that you don't go into escrow and then get canceled or be dragged on by a buyer who cannot perform. And the same way for the buyer. So I think I agree with you. There is more than just getting your license and getting a listing, putting a sign out there. We are like, we have to perform on a level that is bringing the highest benefit to you as a client. And that's what your expectation should be. of your agent? What can they do for you to get the benefit that you deserve?
Exactly, because somebody that's not experienced may say, okay, I got these offers, I'm gonna go with the highest offer, not realizing that, they can do that, but maybe the appraisal won't come in. Experienced agent will be able to say, okay, you can get the highest offers, but what about the appraisal? What about they make sure there's going to be appraised? Otherwise, it's all for naught. Maybe they would be able to adjust that offer so that you still be able to get credits towards something else, but the appraisal will still be able to come in. There's so many different ways that experienced agent know how to manipulate something. Maybe again, like I said, this is the highest offer. It's not going to be the best offer. How do you protect yourself through that transaction? Whether it's a cash offer, how do you protect yourself through that? People say, "Oh, it's cash, no problem." Yes, it could be very problematic if you don't handle it correctly. And it doesn't guarantee the sale. So just having, and why not? Again, you only pay if the transaction is, from a seller, you only pay if the transaction is consummated. From a buyer, like, why not? The seller is paying for it. You think that you're going to get a better deal in the price by saving that commission. Many times you won't, because a seller that's really cutting costs like that, I would think that they really cut costs in their house. So what else are they cutting costs? If they're going to cut costs with, paying a licensed professional to represent them, then have they cut costs in the electrical? Have they cut costs in the plumbing? Have they cut costs in the roofing? Where else have they cut costs? If that's their mindset, they're going to let a large transaction like that go unprofessionally supervised, then what else did they let go unsupervised? So I wouldn't want to buy a property from a seller that didn't respect and didn't acknowledge the value of making sure they have a professional to protect them and protect you. So there's so many different ways of looking at it, and it's just now they're so tempting because people are trying to save dollars, and there's so many different options out there. But do it again. Do it on your clothing. Do it on your gardening. Do it on anything else, but don't do it on your biggest transaction of your life. Because again, if it loses, if that kind of transaction is reversed for any reason, if one little thing is missed, one little addendum or amendment, or one little itty thing is missed, your whole transaction can be nullified. And it could be everything in the favor of the buyer or the seller. So why take that risk by just...
That's right. And I think the same thing applies to the buyers as well. When you are being represented, truly your agent is your biggest advocate and protector in here. Mm-hmm. They're the ones who should make sure that everything you are provided with, the knowledge, with the education and everything, and the information, and then protect you every step of the way. Mm-hmm. So in my opinion, I have bought properties too, and when I was involved in buying the properties, especially when I was out of state, I had somebody else represent me, and I interviewed agents to make sure that the person who is representing me is a real professional, because I know how bad it can be if you are not being represented correctly. So all in all, we just want to make sure that you as our listeners know and realize the importance of representation in every aspect of your transactions. And Desiree, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
For your precious time.
Luck and good luck in your buying and selling experience. Make it a beautiful experience, not a traumatic experience. Make it wonderful and do the right thing by hire the right agent. And I think that you are speaking to the best agent out there. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Well, Desiree's information is down below. So make sure to check her out, to speak to her if you are looking to advance your business, especially like in the social media arena and all these things. She's an expert in that. Check her out, speak to her, because I cannot tell enough about who she is and how great she is. And with that said, thank you so much for your time. I know your time is precious, and hope to see you in our next episodes. And you stay safe, you stay healthy, and you have a great day.